many decades. And that sort of gives you a kind of privilege of having seen and being part of a kind of systematic change. One that was quite implemented deliberately, and then over the years, once the sort of directions of redresser had occurred, then to participate in watching the sort of changes that occurred because of situations of normalcy. Let us start in a way with those early years, those years when you were a student. And how did you decide, how did your journey begin coming into the world of art?
When I was in school, I had started attending one class. The teacher who was there thought I was good, so he insisted that I should also join extra class. But I had never thought of becoming an artist. I was interested in Gujarati language and language. And in my school we didn't have any competitions or even examinations.
Oh, I see.
So, because my performance was not too bad, I was allowed to go up and up till last year.
Sir, which part of India were you located in?
In Gujarat, but
Okay.
in a town called Bhavnagar.
Right.
But though it was a small state, in a way it was much advanced, especially in education. And lots of experiments were done. As I said, my school was the only school where we had co-education, no examination. So in 1950, there was this new SSC board. Till then it was matriculation.
Right.
And Bombay University was conducting even this matriculation test for schools from Karachi to Nagpur to Goa and Rajasthan, all western region. So that time they came up with almost 50 subjects. One can select 7. Only 2 or 3 were compulsory. So I gave up Sanskrit, and instead of that I took drawing and painting.
I see. Okay.
So that's how I did my SSC. I had a very crazy idea about English language, that was the language of British people who were ruling us. In 1942 movement, I had seen police merging in my father's house. I was so disgusted about that. I decided that I will never learn this language. And I was thinking of going to Shantiniketan because I had heard about Shantiniketan. Many students from my school, that was a stepping stone. Then they were going to Ahmedabad in Gujarat Vidyapith, which was started by Gandhiji. And then from there they were going to Shantiniketan. My first uncle had also studied in Shantiniketan. So I had fairly good idea about Shantiniketan. And all those students were also returning to our school and talking to students about Shantiniketan. The song about Rabindranath, we knew many, especially Eklo Jane Re, Go Alone, was very favorite in the school. So I was thinking of going to Shantiniketan. I had started preparing, though I had no idea how to go or what was the route, but just...
But that was a destination that you would take yourself to.
That I knew. But in that summer vacation, a very good friend of mine, who was elder, 4 years, he had returned from Baroda, and there was already arts, old Kala Bhavan in Baroda, which was started by Sayaji Rao. The course was followed in JJ School of Art. And the final examination, students had to go to Mumbai for giving that examination. They would get diploma from JJ School of Art. So when he came back, he had done already 1 year in Kala Bhavan. And he said that a new college was coming up by MS University. And Markan Bhatt was to start it. Now Markan Bhatt was again an ex-student of the school where I was studying. I had seen 2 or 3 murals that he had done in our school and one theatre in Bhavnagar. And I was also told that Professor Bendre was to also become head of the painting department. I knew Bendre Sahib also, not only by his work, but I had met him because he had come to my school. Whoever was visiting that part, my school was inviting them, any important person, writers, poets, those who were involved in freedom movement, they all visited the school. And during those years, in 48 and 49, Illustrated Weekly had published one series on contemporary Indian art. It was 4 pages, 5 or 6 color reproductions and their biodata and something about their work. So I had also seen Bendre Sahib's work. I had also seen his work in one Gujarati magazine, because when he had come to Gujarat,
They had reproduced and perhaps interviewed him.
so I thought that was a very good. So instead of Shantiniketan, I changed the destination or shortened the destination.
Okay, closer home.
Ah,
Yes, yes.
So then I came to Baroda. That's how it started.
And which year was that?
1950.
1950.
That is 64 years.
64 years ago. Wonderful.
So,
Coming to Baroda, obviously there would have been a shift from the kind of environment that you were used to, even in an educational sense.
not much really, because again, because Market was here.
I see.
So it was more or less same kind of
Environment. Interesting. So, given that as the premise, the shift coming into a much more sort of concentrated focus on art. What were those years like for you? What was it? Who were your contemporaries? You talk about the people who were some of the faculty members, but who were the people who were making up your classmates, and how did you start beginning to making something from a hobby, making something that you were comfortable with, into something that you understood would have maybe not the word career, but have larger implications in your life? So how did art become taken more seriously by you as an art student?
There was a fairly large group of these students from same school from Bhavnagar together. So we hardly had any feeling that we were in a place.
Yes, you sort of a bit of your past came into your present. Yes.
Another advantage was that because I had not done matriculation, I had to join diploma class. At that time they allowed students who had not done matriculation. And we didn't have any, diploma students didn't have to go for any theory classes. So we had more studio hours for practicing.
Yes.
And so right from the morning, we had a bad habit of coming 2 hours before the college started, because we had nothing else to do.
Yes.
So by 6:30, 7 we were in college. And till night. So I just went on doing whatever I had to do.
Yes, sometimes just applying a very simple methodology of just belonging. You belong in that space, and so therefore you exist.
We didn't have any big ideas, only learning various things.
And did it prescribe or did it follow a very similar kind of syllabus or pattern, like doing the life study and doing the perspective drawing, or were there different types of exercises that were given to you in those days?
It was halfway between the regular academic pattern that was followed in JJ School of Art, because Bendre Sahib had studied there.
Yes.
The curriculum was also like that.
Right.
In fact, we had one special class every week. It was called creative art.
Okay.
As if creative art was different from
Other
other art. And often later when Chabri Sahib and Mani Sahib joined college, we were always laughing at this term, creative art. So it was in a way good, because we were trained in what is known as the academic school.
Yes.
You can make outright which look like photographs. You can identify. Even my sketches in sketchbook, you can identify.
Who is who? Yes, yes.
So that kind of training was there. But it was never encouraged as the final thing.
Exactly.
As if it was kind of a riyaz for hand and coordination of eye.
Yes. So in fact, building up basic skills, unapologetically build the skills up.
That was
then decide what to do with those skills at a later age.
Even what is now dropped, we had to copy something in order to learn. A figure from Magenta or from Sanchi or something. Because when you copy something, you work on it for it.
You deconstruct it. Basically, you're deconstructing it and understanding what
you,
it is. Yes.
If you are making leaves, you are almost counting all the leaves. So, something that you otherwise never see in that work, if you are just looking at it. So, it's very different.
It's a different approach to yes. I think perhaps also, what one recognizes from that era is that the sense of teaching and the relationship with the student was, I think, much more intimate for the right reasons. Which perhaps brings me to asking you, not in a space of who you liked as an individual, but as a student, who do you feel you learned things from? What were the kind of things that you feel you learned? Also, with the student and the teacher, there's certain kind of connections that establish larger friendships. Did that happen with yourself?
Yes, because when college was started, they had decided that the ratio of teacher and student should be 1 to 10. And it continued for first 8-10 years. Later, number of students had to be increased for various reasons. Because it was a new college, everyone wanted to do something. So, most of the teachers were more like friends. There was some age difference, but otherwise. In fact, I had in Bhavnagar, I was speaking only Gujarati, but I had heard some Hindi words, few films that I had seen. I had seen very few films in Bhavnagar. I thought, in Hindi they say yaar, 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 and I had no idea what was yaar. And once Dandya sir said something, he was talking with us in Hindi. I mean, his mother tongue was Marathi, but he himself he studied and I think he lived in Indore.
Right.
So,
his fluency was less.
So I said, kya karte hai yaar? It was tough. But he also realized that I had no idea. So then he asked a friend of mine who was from Bangladesh, 6 years older than me. 6 years then was double because I was 16 and he was 22. So he said, "Jara Jyoti ko batao, teacher ko yaar nahi bolna chahiye." But that's the way we were always feeling. And later Chaudhary sir really became yaar. He never wanted to be teacher or cricket class. There is all kind of things to encourage it to. So I think we learned almost many things and there was no hard classroom thing.
Which has developed now over the years obviously for required
But
reasons.
even then, we continue to get open.
That's right.
So
Yes.
one first year student can see what the final year student was.
Very true.
There were few teachers from whom I don't think I have learned much positively. But I also learned many things what not to do. So
Very true.
that was also but comparing sometimes becomes difficult, embarrassing. In fact, somebody had asked Manisha, I don't know, whether you like Nandamu or you don't like. And he said, you should never ask whether you like your mother more or your father more. So sometimes it was difficult to say, no? I might have learned more from person whom I didn't like for one reason or another.